Hey, hey.
Hey, hey,
How you feeling tonight?
I'm good. I'm really, really good. I'm good. I'm happy to be here. Very
Happy to
grateful.
have you here. Yes, yes indeed. So I feel like tonight is going to be a special treat having you on my platform. Yeah, I'm really I really feel blessed to have you here tonight.
The pressure's
Um
on now. I'm like, okay.
no pressure at all. Be yourself. Be yourself. Be your normal light-filled self, and we will have a good time tonight. All right.
Your plan.
So, before we get started, I just want to do a quick welcome message to everybody joining and everybody who will be watching this live stream in the future. So, welcome everybody to Octave Opulence Live Chats. I'm your host, Justin Pinkney, Creative Director of Octave Opulence LLC. My goal with this series is to bring influential and inspiring artists whose stories I believe will impact their creatives to find their unique voice and use it to tell their stories while pushing past the obstacles of fear and self doubt. Today, I have a special guest joining me from Southeast DC. We're in the same city tonight. Yes, indeed. Vocalist, educator, actor. I call him the Luther Vandross of jazz, Barry Moton. How are you
Hey,
today?
hey.
Welcome to the platform. How are you today?
I'm wonderful. I'm wonderful. I'm feeling good on this good Friday. Just enjoying my presence or my energy in here.
Yes,
It made no sense, but it made sense to me.
I'm enjoying your presence, so it makes sense to me, and I'm glad you were able to take some time out of your hectic schedule. I know it's the holidays, and this is a heavy working season for artists and musicians and singers. So really appreciate the moment you have to breathe, and you're breathing here with me.
Excited.
So before we get started, I want to talk about how we met. All right, so we met in 2014.
2014.
Yes.
Yes.
And we were students of A Approach. We were taking the live in person vocal classes hosted by A Approach at Breasia Productions in Laurel, Maryland. So shout out to Eric Arsenal,
Eric Arsenal, Tina
yeah,
B.
Tina B.
Yes, Mike Bryant.
Oh yes, oh yes, and the whole crew over there. Vocal training that brings people together. And I remember the first class that I was in, and you were sitting next to me, and we were doing like we weren't in the class yet. We weren't doing like any exercises, but you were kind of like vocalizing, and I was like, oh, these are real singers in this room. So let me. I was like, okay, all right.
I remember I remember that day too. I remember that day too. Actually, by the way,
Yeah,
yes, I
I was
do.
like, let me remain humble in the presence
Oh,
of the greats.
and I know for the people that are listening, they all know how amazing Justin is. Like, really, really, a wonderful, wonderful, wonderful singer.
I appreciate it. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. But I from that moment realized that your personality was one that was magnetic, and you had a way of bringing folks together, and you actually ended up sort of assembling a crew of singers from the class, and you kind of helped us to stay in touch over the years. It's been what, 7 years, 8 years now,
Yes.
and
Shout out to Stephanie and Linda and oh my God, everybody. If I start naming names, I'll forget 9,000
yeah,
people. But yeah,
Ron,
Ron. Yes.
um,
Michael
Michael
Sancho.
Sancho, yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
So yeah, definitely a good time. So the rest is history, and here we are today, still workshopping together, still sharing energy, still sharing platforms. So I'm again truly grateful. So enough of the how we met story. I want to get into your story personally. Can you tell us about yourself, where you were born, where you grew up, and any other background details you'd like to share?
Yes, I was born in Peoria, Illinois, which is the hometown of Richard Pryor. It's nowhere near, it's like 3 hours away from Chicago, so it's nowhere near Chicago at all. And it's kind of like a bigger town amongst the smaller towns. My mother was a nurse. She's now retired. Shout out to Penny Moton. My father was a principal. I have an older brother and a younger sister, and we're all still very, very close. And yeah, I'm trying to think of anything else. I got into music around fifth grade when I started doing band. I played the saxophone, and I was like, and then high school is when I started to sing. And so I just really, really enjoyed it. I really enjoyed it. I had a wonderful music teacher. Shout out to Miss Denise Adams, who was fantastic. And my band teacher there, Miss Trankenshoe as well. They were just wonderful, wonderful teachers, and I learned so much from them. And then I went on to college. Ended up at Southern Illinois University studying with Reggie Thomas, who is Reggie and Marjorie Thomas, who are truly, truly fantastic people. Shout out to them. And Catherine Bentley, who was my acting teacher. She is still a very close friend of mine. I got off the phone with her today, So,
Oh
so
wow,
yeah.
wow.
Mm-hmm. And then I went over to Howard University to study jazz, and I studied with Professor Kenetra Miller, who is truly amazing, and Cyrus Chess.
Yeah. I hate to cut you off, but was she responsible for gosh, what's the name of the
Afro
group?
Blue.
Yes. Oh my
Yes,
god. Oh,
yes,
you studied with her?
yes. She
My
is
god, my
truly,
god.
truly, and unfortunately I was not able to sing with Afro Blue, but she
Okay.
is amazing. She truly, truly is amazing. Yeah, and Jessica Boykin Settles, who's over there too, and Shakira Rogers. They run a tight ship. It's wonderful. There's amazing singers that come out of that program, and it's just great. I've
That's
had a
awesome.
very, very uh, enriched, spoiled education. I really have, because Reggie Thomas and Professor Miller, they all were just amazing, amazing people. And then of
So,
course Eric, yeah.
yeah. So you were well trained before we met, and I knew it. I was like, I'm in the presence of some real vocal beasts. When you were the first impression of the class. So
And I did not know that, which makes me even more nervous because I'm like, oh, I'm like, what? Oh my God.
so yeah, so when you were studying in Southern Illinois, were you studying vocal not pedagogy, but vocal performance,
Yeah.
or
So
were you doing musical theater?
I was doing jazz vocal performance, jazz vocal performance.
Okay. Okay.
Reggie Thomas and Marja. Yes, yes. But you're probably wondering about the acting part. I've just always kind of been connected to acting. I was in plays and all of that. Involved, and I was in plays at Howard as well. So just always kind of involved in theater.
Okay.
That was kind of been my thing.
So when did you start singing? Oftentimes kids will have sort of that gift that gets sort of refined in school and in training. Was that your story?
Yeah, I would definitely say so. I definitely developed my confidence in school,
Okay.
in terms of my singing, and that really happened in high school. I went to Woodruff High School and studied with Denise. I feel like I'm always saying I studied with, but I mean, I've just always been very much a student, a student of the craft. But studied with Denise Adams, and she will she whipped me into shape. She was very serious. She was, you got to get this right. She was, and she exposed us to so many different types of music. That was a big thing for her too, was to sing many different genres of music. So,
What were some of the genres that you studied with her, or
okay,
that you
so
sang with her?
We definitely did classical, we did jazz, we did kind of like a pop kind of thing. We sang in different languages. We sang in Latin, we sang in French, we sang in German, we sang, all different kinds of languages. Yeah, I'm sure we probably did some funk stuff. I mean, she was just any kind of, thing that any sort of genre that she could kind of get us into. We did Negro spirituals as well, you know what I mean?
Wow, wow.
Classical, all of that, she was very, very intentional about that.
Does
Mhm.
classical sort of have a role in jazz singing?
Okay, that is a very loaded question.
Sorry.
Oh no, no,
Let's
I love that. I love that. I think my answer is yes, I do. I think that I don't believe in that whole kind of concept that if you can sing classical, then you can sing anything. I don't believe that. I think that, especially working with Eric, he's kind of proven that yes, while you can take some techniques from the classical idiom and all of
Mhm.
that and infuse that into your own personal technique and all of that, yes, but when they're training you as an opera singer, you're singing like an opera singer. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Which has its own set of nuances that are completely different from jazz. But I feel like a lot of the foundations of technique are still there in terms of your breathing support, your pitch accuracy, all of those kind of things are very, very important in both classical and in jazz. I mean, you take a look at Sarah Vaughan,
My
who,
God.
I mean, had such a beautiful instrument, and some people said that there was an operatic quality to her voice as well. So I think that they sisters, they
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah. And
they
you speak of
related.
yeah, you speak of Sarah Vaughan. I mean, her range was crazy. I mean, what she could do with scatting, like her musical ear was just ridiculous. Like,
Oh
jeez.
my goodness, yes.
I was trying to practice some of her stuff the other day. I was like, okay, this is a good workout.
I'm like, wow, and that soft palate, that raised soft palate that she get,
Yeah,
fierce,
yeah.
fierce, yeah.
We're getting a little technical tonight. All right.
Ooh,
But
yes,
nothing wrong with that. Nothing wrong with that.
yes.
Um, so who are your musical influences?
Okay, so I have to. Every time I talk about this, I have to talk about my mother. So my mother, and when we were in the car, we would always have the radio on. And my mother is a big jazz fan, a big jazz fan.
Hmm.
So she would play this song, this kind of game called "Name That Singer," "Name That Jazz Singer" in the car. And so she would have on the radio, and it'd be Sarah Vaughan playing, or Ella Fitzgerald, or Billie Holiday, or Carmen McRae, all these different singers. And she was like, "Who is that?" Like, and you better know who the singer is. So I guarantee you, if you were to play a jazz singer, most likely I would be able to tell you, oh, that's so and so, because that's just what my mother did. She just ingrained that. So I listened to all of them, and all of them, Ella, Billy, Sarah, Carmen, all of them since a very young age. Nancy Wilson, oh my goodness, Nancy Wilson,
Yes, yes.
listened to them for a long time. And then my father was a big funk person. So he
Okay.
loved, Parliament, and the Funkadelics, all that kind of stuff. And so I kind of have like that funk kind of part too that I love, as well. So
Oh yeah, we hear it in the project that you released, but we'll get into your music a little later. We're still kind of laying the foundation,
oh
so
yeah,
I
yeah,
don't want to rush the process just yet.
yeah.
Um, I want to talk about your artist collective. So I saw that you have a collective, an artist collective called Humanity.
Yeah.
Did I say it right?
Yes, yes, yeah.
And
Wow.
let me
You
put
did
it
your research.
let me put it on the screen and make sure folks can see it.
Yes. Humanity. Yes.
So can you tell us a little bit about your this artist collective, and I also saw that it shows up with your record label. So
Oh yes,
yeah.
yes. Wow, yeah, yeah. So Humanity is an artist collective of me and a bunch of friends around the area, and even around the nation now, because they've all kind of spread. But it's dedicated to telling the stories and humanizing the experiences of Black same gender loving men. I use the term same gender loving. I know some people use queer, LGBT, but I use the term same gender loving men. In order to help unify, the Black community as a whole. That's really what it's centered around.
Hmm.
So we put on different kind of artistic experiences. A couple of last year, that was last year, we did a play called Daydream, which was based on the life of Billy Strayhorn, Black same gender loving artist that worked with Duke Ellington. Most people
Wow.
know the tune "Take the A Train," but they don't know that Billy Strayhorn wrote it.
Right. No, I didn't know either. I didn't know that.
Yeah, yeah. And so he was a Black same gender loving brother, who didn't want to be in the spotlight so much because of that would draw attention to him. And back in during those times, to be out in that kind of way did not have the same sort of. I mean, even it's still nowadays. I mean, it's still challenging to be out.
Yeah.
You know what I mean.
Yeah.
So there's that. There's that too. But so that's really what projects we do, and we're getting ready to. I cannot wait to unleash it. But next year we're getting ready to do a really really big project that I'm very very excited about, and I have to put some mental energy towards it. But it'll be coming out next year, and more details to follow. But
More
yeah.
details. So the project will be under the Humanity Artists Collective.
Yes, yeah, that'll
Okay.
be under the Humanity Artists Collective. Mhm.
Looking forward to that. Looking forward to that.
I'm excited. I'm excited.
So
I will probably be hitting you up, by the way. So,
let
just
me
be-
know.
yeah,
You know where I'm at. So let me know.
you already know.
So you spoke of your the play that you wrote, Daydream, about Billy Strayhorn. Can you tell us a bit about the musical that you were recently in called "I Too Sing America" about Langston Hughes?
Yeah, that was at Howard University, and that was. It's funny that you mentioned that because that was a little bit ago. That was the story of Langston Hughes.
Hmm.
And do you know who was actually in that production? I don't know if you're a fan of the TV show Pose.
Yeah, yeah, definitely.
But Ryan Jamal Swain, who played the dancer, yeah, he's a friend of mine. And in fact, when we did the Billy Strayhorn piece, the very first time he was Billy. He was Billy the first time.
Oh wow! So is he in the DC area?
Well, he was. He's has since moved on and done the amazing things that he's doing now. Shout out to Ryan. But he
Yeah,
went to
shout out to
Howard.
Ryan. So
Yeah.
is he from DC or the DC
I think
metro
he's
area?
from Alabama. I want to say he's
Okay.
from Alabama. But yeah, yeah, he's. I mean, just phenomenal.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
just phenomenal, and a
Shout out to
wonderful singer.
Ryan.
Oh, and the show, The Shy. The show The Shy.
I've heard of it, but I haven't watched it.
One of the actors, Burgundy Baker, was in that production too. So,
Okay.
which is just wild, just to see them like, I'm like, I can literally turn on the television and there they are. It's just so amazing.
It is so amazing to be a part of creativity and having paths cross with people that you see on TV. Like it's like, okay, wait a
It's
minute.
like, what? Yes, yeah.
So that that's a reminder that your time is coming. So keep keep on the path. Keep on the path.
We trying.
So how did you land that spot with I Too Sing America?
Ooh, that is a very interesting conversation because the famous choreographer George Faison, he was going to do the production, but ended up having to do another. George Faison, most people, he's done so many different projects, but he was really, really well known for The Wiz, for choreographing for The Wiz. But he's done so many projects outside of that. But he had to do another project, and he was going to do that. And so then Raymond Caldwell, who I think is now the artistic director at the Anacostia Playhouse, he ended up taking over and did an amazing job. So he assembled all of us together. We had already auditioned for the George Faison, so he took all the actors from that and put us into that particular production, and that was a wonderful experience. I mean, truly, truly, it was. They're very, very talented people.
I can imagine.
Yeah.
Wow. And did you tell us what role you played in the?
So it was kind of like a musical review. So
Okay. Okay.
there were a bunch of different songs, and so we kind of all kind of had our own particular songs, and so we played different characters throughout each piece.
For those who don't know, can you tell us what I Too Sing America is based on?
So I Too Sing America is based on Langston Hughes' play, or not play, his poem entitled "I Too Sing America," and it really really talks about racism in the United States, and so that is kind of like the framework for the entire production that we put on, and we started out with the "What Happens to a Dream Deferred," that
Mm.
that poem,
Yeah.
that
Yeah.
wonderful poem, all of that. I even sang "Lush Life," Billy Strayhorn's song, in that, and it really kind of takes a look into the Harlem Renaissance, what is known as the Harlem Renaissance. That's a debatable subject. Some people, look, I went to Howard. If Dr. Carr, if he heard me say the Harlem Renaissance, he'd be like, well, hold up, So I want to make sure and understand, that the Harlem Renaissance was a very nuanced kind of experience.
Yeah. Yeah. And I didn't unfortunately get that HBCU experience, so we'll have to um we'll have to talk offline. We'll have to compare some notes.
I'm gonna say, I hope I'm not coming off as a snob because I don't mean that. I don't mean it that way.
Absolutely not. No, definitely not. And I actually saw on your website that that you attended the real HU experience.
That's
Not
right.
not
That's
trying
right.
to.
Right. Yeah. Y'all
I'm
heard it. Y'all heard it.
I'm not trying to start anything with Hampton U people, but hey,
You know, and really, it's all in fun because we are all a family. No matter what university, what we are all Black folks, colored folks.
yeah,
So we all share a similar experience. I really do believe that.
that's for sure. That is
Yeah.
for sure. So I read that you shared the stage with some heavy hitters like Cyrus Chestnut, Vanessa
Yes.
Rubin, and the late
Yes.
Roy Hargrove. Can you tell us how
Oh
you were
yeah.
connected to these opportunities and share a little bit about those experiences?
Yes, well, the wonderful Cyrus Chestnut, who is a amazing, amazing pianist, he teaches now at Howard University, and so I was actually
Oh, wow.
able, yes, yes, which is just fantastic. I mean, he's played any jazz singer in the entire world that he's played for them. He's played for them all.
Indeed.
He's played for Kathleen Battle. You know what I mean? I mean, amazing. Those musicians that have like no genre, like they can play any type of music. He's
Yeah.
one of those. He's one of those. And to take a class with him was, I mean, truly wonderful. It was truly amazing. And then Vanessa Rubin, that was at Southern Illinois University. Me and a couple of singer friends, shout out to Zena and Nicole, we started our own group, our own singers organization called the Singer Society at Southern Illinois University. And we brought in Vanessa Rubin, who is a wonderful jazz singer. And I just saw she's in Michigan right now, I think.
Okay.
But
Okay.
we brought her in and she performed with us and it was fantastic. And Reggie Thomas, the one that I mentioned earlier, he made some amazing arrangements for us for that particular project. It was just killing. I've had a wonderful experience.
I
Yeah.
can
And she
imagine.
sings down, down.
Yes, she does.
Yeah.
Yes, she
Yeah.
does.
Yeah. And then of course Roy Hargrove. So I was actually singing at a jam session. They used to do a jam session on U Street, right across from the Brixton, but I forgot the name of the place because it's not there.
Um,
It's right by the metro, like literally you get off of the U Street Metro, and it's like you walk up the steps, and it's like right there. But I cannot think of the name of it.
which exit of the metro? Because I'm thinking
Right,
about
not
the
not the CVS. No,
not and pizza.
yes, and pizza right there. You get off from there, you get up, and then you take a right, and you walk over there like where the
Oh,
DPR,
are you talking about Marvin's?
but it is on the top floor.
Yes, there's two floors. So they're like I know the bottom level sometimes has bands, but I think they mostly did DJs, and then upstairs.
Uh-huh. And then
Um,
upstairs, it was upstairs. I remember that, but I cannot remember the name of it. I don't even know if it's
did it
there.
have like a speakeasy vibe? So you walked in and yeah, and then you walked in. There were like stairs like you're
Yes,
immediately facing. I think that's Marvin.
yes,
Yeah,
yes, yeah.
Marvin's.
And
May
yeah,
Marvin. I think Marvin's is no longer in existence, right?
that's what I was gonna say. I don't think it's there anymore.
Yeah,
Yeah,
because I
yeah,
think the pandemic did away with Marvin's and Soto and
yeah, yeah.
um, twins.
Oh, twins,
Yeah,
and of course, Bohemian Caverns as
Bohem-
well. Even though that was kind of before, but yeah, yeah,
yeah. Some of the legendary spots are no longer here, and
no
the
longer
pandemic
here.
just really wiped out some of the newer ones that were really just making it a wave
And
in the
trying to
music
make,
scene.
yeah,
Yeah, wow.
yeah,
Um,
yeah. But that's where I saw Roy Hargrove. So I was singing.
okay.
I was not only I did not only see him. Let me be clear about that. So I was singing. I never forget. I was singing "Every Day I Have the Blues," and I was singing at the jam session. And I was closing my eyes, and I thought I was really into it. I was like, oh, all this kind of stuff. I opened up my eyes, and right in front of me is Roy Hargrove, looking like, "Give me this microphone," and I was like, "You got it. You got it."
So
Yeah.
was he hosting the jam session?
No, he just came. He just came.
That's crazy.
Isn't that wild? Isn't that wild? He just literally just and apparently he
People
did
were
it
just
often.
stepping up in Marvin's like that.
Just stepping up, just like, and I'm
That's
like,
crazy.
that image of what's the Simpson girl, the cartoon Lisa, and she's like, that was me. You know what I mean? That was, I'm like,
Yeah,
oh
yeah. No, no. I would have passed out.
yeah, yeah, that's
I
crazy.
would have lost a win.
Yeah, yeah, he's wonderful.
Yes, he is. May he continue to rest in peace.
May rest in peace. So it's just been
So
a wonderful time.
yeah, yeah, yeah. So I've heard you say that, we're kind of shifting a little bit into current projects, solo work. So just to level set the expectation, but I've heard you say that you made every excuse you could think of to not launch out as a solo artist until recently. What pushed you to move past the fear and excuses to take that leap?
Really, it was the pandemic, to be honest with you. It really was.
Wow.
The pandemic really gave me a chance to focus, to really sit and be with myself for a minute instead of doing every 9,000 things. I'm here, over here, over here, and nowhere at the same time. You know what I mean? And so it really gave me a moment to just focus and take an assessment of my life and like, what are you doing? What are you really doing? And are you happy with that? And are
Mm.
you on the trajectory that you say that you wanted to be on? And I wasn't. I was not. And I'm working. I still don't feel completely there, and I don't know if I ever will feel completely there. But just using that time and that energy to just focus, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
figure out exactly what I wanted to do. And that was the most important part. And it took some work and some soul searching, and I'm still going through it, you know.
It's a continual process, and you just have to allow yourself to surrender to that process and not judge it. Just let it
Yes.
unfold.
Yes.
Yeah. And I wonder, when did you first have the thought or the impression upon your heart that you needed to be a solo artist, because you did a lot of work, with other people, doing background, doing performances, but when did you first feel like I need to do this on my own as a solo artist?
That's a really good question. I would probably say, to be honest with you, around my birthday, and I know that you know my birthday because we have the same birthday. So
Yes.
around
Yes.
my birthday is so I had applied for a grant, for an artist grant, and we always find out around October. By the way, it's always around October, and I think I found out on my birthday that I had gotten that grant, And I was like, I think that that's a sign that I really need to kind of do my own thing. Because I was thinking, should I put more of it into Billy Strayhorn and do the Daydream project again, just on a grander scale, or what? What should I really do? And so I was like, well, things okay. But so I said, I need to really, I know, I need to focus.
That's all right.
I need to really focus. So uh, I decided to put that money into creating an EP, and so that's when I decided that I need to kind of do my own thing.
That's
And
awesome.
I was involved in a really really wonderful project that also um, that I'm so passionate about, but it was me focusing on other people's goals. You know what I mean? And so I had to let some things go. And that was really really hard. That was a very hard sacrifice.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Because what's interesting about humans is when you're in a certain phase of your life and you're doing things in that phase that sort of become a part of what people expect from you, people tend to kind of hold you in that spot forever
Yes.
because you're providing something to them. And we forget that we have the ability to evolve. We have the ability to grow and to change. And when change happens, a lot of times the people that were in a phase in our lives where we were doing one thing, we can't bring them along with us because they're used to us being that one thing.
Yeah.
And then
Yeah.
you got to deal with the awkwardness and the and the anger and the emotions, and it's just like, oh, can I just be free? Can I just
Can a brother be free? And that's a whole word within itself that you just said.
Yeah, I don't want to take the conversation too far off the rails, but obviously I have feelings about that.
Yeah.
That's a whole nother live. So
Oh, you know, you know.
we'll leave it at that.
Yeah, because really, the Christmas conversation that we had last year, that was like in the thick of it, with Stephanie and all them. That was
Yeah,
right
that
in
was
the middle of
last
that.
year.
That was
Yeah,
last year. Isn't that wild? Isn't
because
that wild?
we were setting our intentions for
Intentions.
2021.
Do you remember that? Do you remember
Yeah,
that? Isn't that
yeah,
crazy?
and I feel like the intentions that you and I had set for this year, we met them,
Doing them. Yes.
and exceeding abundantly have met them. So
Yeah. Yeah.
yes.
It's very, very cool.
What is what is your songwriting process?
Yeah. So that's really interesting because sometimes it evolves. Sometimes the lyric will come first, and then sometimes the melody will come first. So a lot of times the lyrics come out of definitely my personal life.
Hmm.
They just do. And I don't want to jump too ahead, but one of the
By
songs
all means.
that I wrote that is on the EP, some people think that it's about one particular relationship that I was in,
Okay.
but
Okay.
it's I actually wrote that before I even met that person, which is crazy. But the song, I revisited that song and it spoke to me even more, and that's why I decided to record it.
Come on, prophetic. Come on now.
Yeah,
You
I was
gotta.
like, okay, like okay, okay. So yeah, yeah,
So
it
there are
was really cool.
times when the lyrics come first. At what point does the melody come to you?
Usually when I'm at the so I don't know if you can tell, but I'm at the piano right now, and so I would literally just start playing chords, and then see if I can feel it. Or with that particular song, I kept hearing that doo 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 doo. I kept hearing that over and over and over again, and so I was like, "Ooh, I wonder if I can kind of play with that a little bit." And
Yeah.
so that it kind of came that way. But then that song that I'm talking about is called "Growing Apart," and I actually, it's actually about my old landlord.
Listen, I seriously thought it was about breaking up, losing
Oh,
love.
it is about that. It was about that person's story because I wrote it to the
I thought you
wrote
were.
it to the husband.
I thought you were saying that you were writing
And
about
we're growing apart. No, 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 no.
at the end of the lease. We're growing apart.
We're
Uh,
growing. But it was, yeah, it was a, yeah, I was close to that person, and really, really enjoyed, their company just as a whole, and wrote that for them, wrote that for as a tribute, as a gift to them. And then I realized, later on, that it you applied to my life. you know
wow,
yeah.
love that. Love that. So you're a piano player, or um, I'll ask it this way: Are you do you accompany yourself when you're performing?
No. And if
Okay.
I did, you'd be like, is this a song? I don't know what this is, brother. That would probably be no. I can accompany myself.
Mhm,
I can
mhm.
accompany myself. And that's a shout out to both Reggie Thomas and to Cyrus Chestnut for being able to do that. But I think it's because I've been surrounded by amazing pianists that I don't want to. I'm like, look, y'all are really amazing. So, can you imagine, I'm trying to think, working with, I can't even think of someone, some amazing pianist, and then them being like, well, now it's your turn. It's like, no, I'm good. They got it.
So the first amazing pianist that came to mind was Robert Glasper.
Yeah. Can you
Yeah,
imagine? And then it's like, okay, now you play. It's like, okay,
yeah, yeah.
I can
No,
play enough to accompany
I can
myself,
play
bro.
enough to
Like,
get me through. I can feed myself a little bit, but you brought
yes,
the whole buffet, and I'm gonna just
you got the entire
let you
buffet.
lay out the meal.
Right. So I'm just gonna put this good cranberry sauce right here,
Like a
and
little
that's gonna
side
be
dish.
me. A
Yeah,
little
yeah.
a little side dish, yeah, yeah, and it's gonna be the canned kind. It's gonna be the ocean spray.
Yeah,
Yeah,
not
yeah,
ocean spray.
yeah,
Oh my God, not ocean spray. Lord have mercy.
yeah.
Um, do you get anxiety before performances? And if so,
Cri-
how do you address it?
Crippling anxiety.
Wow.
Um, often, often, by the way. And to be honest with you, the only saving, sort of grace behind that is Eric. To be honest with you, Eric. I'm talking about Eric Arsenault,
Okay.
who is, the vocal coach that we both know.
I missed the anxiety lesson. So what's so what did
It's
so
just
what was his technique? What was his advice?
it's really that the technique is so strong, that his vocal technique is so strong that I can just rely on that in a sort of way, and that is really, I'm being dead serious, by the way.
I
Yeah.
can see that because his technique, not to give away too much of his information that people probably have to pay for, but he talks about expanding your ribs and sort of like this 360-degree support that releases the diaphragm, but it involves the ribs, it involves the back, and it could feel like, I don't know how to describe it, but I can say for me that it literally feels like I'm sitting in a very supported chair.
Yes, yes, I feel that.
Is that your
Yeah.
experience?
Yeah, yeah, and this perpetual expansion,
Yeah,
that's what you're always, feeling like it's almost like a moving chair or something like that, where it's just always, just always constantly opening.
yeah.
And as long as I focus on that, you know, I'm able to get through the performance without just completely falling apart.
I, I remember him saying, it might have been at the Breasia Studios classes where he said to focus that nervous energy on your ribs,
Yep,
which
yep,
yeah, now that you mentioned it, I remember him saying that in one of the classes.
yep,
So
yep.
that's
Kind of
so
using that as your anchor.
yeah. So do you when you're on stage and you're getting ready to hit your first note, you breathe, and all of your support mechanisms are working. Do you feel the anxiety dissipate, or does it sort of remain with you as you're performing?
It's a good question, and I think that sometimes it remains depend. It depends on how well I know the music.
Hmm.
If I know it really really well, like the back of my hand, and if I'm working with musicians that I trust, and that I know has my back, then I'm fine. I really am. But it's when I don't know the musicians and I'm really nervous, and I don't have that kind of synergy with them, or I don't know what the synergy is like until we're on the stage. That
Yeah,
makes me nervous. You
that
know,
can be rough. That can be
yeah,
rough. I
yeah,
highly encourage rehearsals, but
yes. Very true.
but that's another live too. Well, I
Yeah. Oh,
yeah.
yeah.
Hmm. Do you have a general prep or ritual before performing?
Yeah, I really do a lot of gyrokinesis, which is have you done that with Eric? It's what Trina Border does. She
I
it's
don't know. I don't know it by name, so yeah. Explain what that is.
Yeah, it's some people compare it to similar to yoga, but it's different because yoga has its own sort of thing. But basically, it's designed to kind of open up the rib cage and really to open up the body and to align the breath, with the body, so that your breath is responsive to your body. If that makes any sense.
Hmm.
So
Hmm.
it kind of marries your the breath with your body in a way. Yeah, and it makes it just so much easier to sing. It
Is
really
it
does.
is that what we would do at Briasia, where you're laying down and you're, or is that not the because I think about like the exercise where we're kind of laying down and you know we're breathing and sending the breath to the pelvic floor.
It could be because there have been times when we have laid down, so it could be that. To be honest
Okay.
with you, Briasia's been 6, 7 years. Ooh,
Oh yeah, I
seven.
know it's been a while. It's been a while, but I'm trying to. I was trying to like bring up like a
Yes,
body,
it's
strictly
very that.
body, non-singing exercises, strictly body, to figure out if I ever experienced what was it, telekinesis? What was it called?
Gyrokinesis, yeah.
Gyrokinesis. I'm gonna
Gyrokinesis,
have to
yeah.
look that up. I'm gonna have to look that
Yeah,
up.
it's phenomenal, by the way. It's really, really
Okay.
good. Yeah.
Now I haven't taken any classes he's done. It sounds like that's probably a part of his breathing boot camp that he's done recently.
Hmm.
I haven't
Hmm.
done any of those yet. I'm gonna have to get on that.
It's amazing. And Trina Border, she's the one that is really kind of over that. She's,
Oh, okay, okay,
Eric and Trina, they really work, they work together. But yeah,
okay, okay.
it's wonderful.
So you're relatively new to the independent artist space. You released your EP, and we'll get to that. I promise. But I have a question about the journey that you've experienced so far. In a general sense, the independent journey can be rough. What obstacles, if any, have you faced as an independent artist, and how have you overcome them?
Yeah, money. Money. Yeah,
Oh,
yeah. um,
oh,
you know,
yes, yeah,
you
yeah,
know,
yeah, yeah.
who has $3,000 for a music video? Who
Ooh,
has, you
mm,
know, four
right.
thousand dollars to, who has that? Who has that? Please, and whoever does that's living in DC, call me, okay?
Yeah, let us know.
But
Let us know.
yeah, let us know because
Mm,
and so thankfully the DC Commission of Arts and Humanities, it sounds
okay.
like it's a paid sponsorship, but it's not. DC Commission of Arts and Humanities, they're the Arts Commission in DC, and they really do help to support young artists that are coming up. They really do. So I applied for one of their grants last year and got $6,000. To
Wow.
put on my own project. So I'd used every bit of that money. So if anybody trying to call me like, let me get $1, let me tell you, I ain't got it. Okay.
Spent. It's in the music. If you want to get $1, listen to the song. You know,
Yeah, listen to the song.
that's what
Yeah,
the dollar is.
that's what a dollar is.
It's
Okay,
streaming right now.
stream it.
So how long did that take to actually get the money?
So you apply for it in late May, early June, and then you don't hear back from them until October, until literally like
Of
our
the
birth time. Yeah,
of the same
of
year
the
that you
same year.
applied. Okay.
Of the same year. Yeah, yeah. It's usually the first week of October. Yeah.
Okay.
And so that, so you don't know if you're just kind of shooting in the dark. You don't know if you're going to get it or not. But yeah.
And can you share like what the criteria is, or
Yeah, so
is
it
that top
depends.
secret DC government?
Because you can all this, and this is very Googleable too. So that's why I want to make sure that I say it. But they have different criteria for different things. So if you're, a visual artist, you can apply for the grants. If you're like a dancer, an actor, if you're a singer, and then even in the singing, they have different requirements as well. So if you're a jazz singer, like there's one for jazz music. If you're pop, it's one for different genres as well, because they want to make sure that it is inclusive. And especially if you live in DC. So because I live in Ward 7, I think it is. Yeah,
You're
South.
Ward 8.
Oh, I'm Ward 8. Okay, yeah,
Yeah,
Ward 8.
yeah.
My bad. But yeah,
I'm gonna need
Ward.
you to know your ward. You need to.
I know. I was like, dang, I ain't know. I ain't know.
I'm just
So,
giving you a hard time.
But yeah,
Boundaries are all fake, but
but yeah, they're really trying to give money to especially the people in wars 7 and 8, in the southeast. They're really trying to give that to. So take advantage. You know what I mean? Really take advantage.
yeah.
Anybody that's listening, take advantage of it, because it's there and it's there to be had. So you need to have at least 3 work samples. So that would just be like 3 songs that you've already recorded, something like that. If you're a singer, I
Mm-hmm.
don't know what you need for other disciplines, but that's what you need for. And
Would
then you just have to prepare like an artist statement.
would they require the recording to be professionally done, or could it just be a voice memo for those balling on the budget and trying to make it happen?
First of all, if you're talking about yourself, the stuff that you've done,
I'm
yes.
speaking in general. I mean, this is
Okay,
for
okay,
anyone listening
okay.
that's
Don't
trying to get
minimize.
started. They don't have studio money.
Yeah.
You know.
Yes. 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 Submit it. Yes.
Okay.
In fact, that's what I did my first. Yeah, that's what I did because I didn't have the EP.
That's right. This funded the EP. This actually
Yes.
was the
Yeah.
seed money to go into the
To
project.
go into the project. So
Okay.
I know one of the things I did was recorded on GarageBand.
Well,
Yeah.
I mean, don't sleep on GarageBand now. GarageBand has come a long way over
Every
the last 16, 15
Yes.
years. So
Yes.
don't sleep on it. I mean,
Yeah.
don't be throwing shade, because actually I did my single on GarageBand.
And
So
that's what I'm talking about.
so
You know what I'm saying? Like, there was no shade, but I know that some people are like, "Oh, GarageBand." I'm like, no, I did this shit stuff. I'm cussing, my bad. But this stuff on
no, it's all
GarageBand.
right. This is a safe space, and you can be yourself. So plug, go check out my single "Of Your Love." I released it in October of 2021, so definitely go check it out on all streaming platforms.
So
You can take a
good.
listen to it, see what we could, what I was able to do with GarageBand. I'm very proud of the project, and how it was, how it came out. Is really
Cheers.
a really great sound, and GarageBand helped me to make that sound possible. So go check it
Yeah.
out on all streaming platforms.
Yeah.
Um, shameless plug. So back to you.
Yeah. Oh, please. Yeah, and it's fierce, y'all. I hope y'all know that. I hope the people that know that it's a really, really great recording.
Thank you so much. That means a lot to me. Yeah, because as I said, you are the vocal beast. So I'm inspired by people like you to keep practicing and keep working at it. So
And the feelings are mutual, and you know
it's a
I,
community.
it's weird when I'm trying to learn how to accept compliments, so I'm working on that within myself. So
And you know what? It's a community. So the thing with compliments is we get to feed each other's gifts. So think of compliments as the food that you need to the fuel that you need to keep going.
Mm,
um, it helps you to understand that you're on the right path because something that you're doing is touching someone's life in some way, or it's touching something inside of them in some way.
mm,
So the compliment, at least from me, is extremely coming from a genuine place. So understand that you don't have to have the right response to a compliment as long as within yourself you accept it. Okay.
mm. That's real.
So can you tell me, in this industry, and you've done various things in entertainment, but in this industry that can be hugely based on masquerades, facades, what has helped you to stay grounded and authentic?
To be honest with you, my friends, you know, um, I have so many people that have we've crossed paths, and I still keep in contact with, and they talk me off of the ledge, and
Yeah.
that's to be honest with you, especially being a chubby brother, you know what I mean, who is not considered masculine, that whole, and sometimes that can get into your head, and it can be challenging. It can be very challenging, and I say it's like World War VIII in my head sometimes. You know what I mean?
Eight.
And so my
How
friends,
do we advance to eight?
right, right, well, I wasn't a history major, so I don't know. It's like I'm like minor, I don't
I
know,
feel. No, I feel you. I feel that.
you know, but but yeah, yeah, it can be challenging, and so my friends and my mother, I call my mother every night, by the way, at
Mm.
10:30, at night, and we have long conversations, and she's very much a part of my support system.
So
Yeah.
your family embrace you and your truth.
Yes, yes,
That's
they did.
beautiful.
Yes, yes, they
Beautiful.
did. So it's
Beautiful.
wonderful.
And some of us, we don't get that, and we have to find love within ourselves. And I I'm happy to hear that you were able to have that support system from the very first nucleus, and that's your family. So
Yeah,
that is
yeah.
amazing.
And it was a journey. I don't want to try to pretend like it wasn't a journey for that. It took a minute to get there, but it's wonderful. It really
I
is.
love it.
My mother just cross stitched a RuPaul cross stitch for my birthday. Like she's like so into
Wow.
it.
Wow.
Know.
She's into it now. It's not just, oh, I accept you. She's
Yeah, she's like a RuPaul shit for me because
giving
I
you.
love RuPaul's Drag Race. I do. I'm not even gonna lie. I love that. I love that show. So yeah,
Okay. Okay. All
yeah.
right. And to your point of this image, having to have an image of a certain, because you mentioned being of a certain size or whatever, it's all BS, right? This society pushed standards on us that really don't fit all of us. And this industry particularly can tell you that you can't do what it is in your heart because you don't fit a certain mold or a certain persona or a certain look. And it's all BS. And
Yes.
and unfortunately, to get into some of the corporate money to do your dream, so you sometimes have to have a certain package. But I really love the time that we're in now because this is the age of the independent artist.
Yeah.
And what artists have done, at least over the last 10 or 11 years, maybe even more, but this is the time frame that I'm aware of, is create communities, where artists are supporting each other, and having platforms where you can publish yourself, like, you know um, what is it called, CD Baby
Oh
and
yeah, Distro
Distro
Kid.
Kid,
Uh-huh.
even being able to broadcast yourself on things like YouTube and Facebook, you really don't need that corporate backing to put yourself out there and to let the world know that you have a story to tell and that you have music to share. So
Yeah.
I love this time that we're in right now, where the corporate structure, the big three, doesn't have a monopoly on the music industry to the point where those of us who are doing it ourselves from our heart can't get into it and share it with the world. So beautiful,
I
beautiful
agree.
time we're living in right now.
I agree. I definitely agree.
What was your craziest moment in music? So you talked about the Roy Hargrove one. Is there one that you haven't shared with us tonight?
I would say the Kennedy Center performance, that was really, really amazing. So we did the Billy Strayhorn play, but I'm also in the play, you know. And so we were not expecting this. We did it at the Kennedy Center, and the performance was sold out and standing room only, and it was
Wow.
just crazy, you know, because we're so focused on trying to get this, and this done, and then you look out in the audience, and I didn't have my glasses on because I broke my glasses, like it was a whole thing, so I couldn't really see shit. By the way, I was like, but then when I saw, I was like, oh my god, there's like tons and tons of people out there. That was very, very cool. That was very cool. I will never forget that.
You did a whole performance and not able to see where you're going?
I couldn't see a thing. Couldn't
Lord
see.
have
I was
mercy.
like, you know,
Well, you made it work somehow, right?
yes. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. How do you get through the hard times?
It sounds redundant, you know, it really does. But my friends and my family, I really put a lot of stock into that, you know. They are very, very, very integral, you know, to my life, you know, and to all, you know, a lot of the things that I do, you know, it's all informed by my friends and my family. You know, I really do.
That's
I call
important.
them all the time, panicking, freaking out, you know, all that kind of stuff, and they're always there to kind of, you know, even the, you know, what's that? Even the, you know what I'm trying to say,
Yeah,
to make things,
definitely.
yeah,
Yeah,
to smooth
yeah.
things out, you know. So
That's important.
yeah.
Connection, connectivity with your people.
Yeah, yeah.
So let's talk about your music. So you just released a video for your single "Night and Day." Congratulations!
Yes, yes, so
And
excited.
to those who don't know, that is a flip of an old Cole Porter song, and Barry did it in such a way where you can kind of shake your hips,
Yeah,
shake your shoulders to it, you know,
yeah,
and gave
yeah.
it a little bit of swag. But he also gave you a little nod to the straight ahead jazz feel of it from way back in the day. So definitely check it out. I believe it's on YouTube, but is it on Vimeo and other platforms?
Oh, I need to put it on Vimeo. That's a good idea.
Oh,
So no, not yet.
okay,
Okay,
not
so
yet.
yeah, I'll put that on, but it's on YouTube. Yeah, just Google my name, Night and Day, and it'll pop up.
It's a great
And
video.
you're in it.
Yes, I'm in the video. I do make an appearance. There's a
Yes, you
particular
do.
scene. There's a particular scene where I am playing drums in the video. So
Yes.
definitely
Yeah.
check it out. Night
This
and
is
day.
very, very cool. And I just want to shout you out and just give you your props. By the way, so I know you know this, but I think I told you maybe the day before, even if it might not have even been like 24 hours, you know, asking you to see if you could do this. It was very short notice. I forgot
I
what it
think it
was.
was. Yeah, yeah.
And you came in and knew the entire piece. You knew the entire piece like that. I was like, oh, okay, what? There we go. Because he, you know, technically he wasn't going to play on it, but it kind of felt more natural to have you kind of playing on it. And so you knew it. You knew it already, like backwards and forwards. I was like, oh,
Just
wow,
in
that was
case.
crazy professional. So yeah.
Justin, you know what? I like to be overly prepared just in case, you said, okay, we're going to do a live scene where you actually have to know the song. And I don't want to be caught like a deer in headlights. So I'm like, okay, I don't know what to expect, but I'm going to just be prepared for every scenario that could possibly show up. So I definitely did my homework and made sure I had it down packed.
It was very cool. Very
Uh,
cool. Yeah.
yeah. Um, in July of this year, 2021, you released your first EP. What happened was,
What
so,
happened was,
so,
yes,
so congratulations on that. And
thank
also
you.
on that project is the single, or the single comes from that project, Night
Hmm.
and Day.
Night and day.
So definitely check it out. Can you tell us a bit about that project? What went into the production, the writing, the recording, and anything you'd be willing to share? Because sometimes that could be sacred moments when we do projects. So anything you're willing to share.
Yeah, yeah. So yeah, it's called What Had Happened Was because once again, I'm always making excuses about I can't do this, or I won't be able to do this, or I can't, or I'm too fat for that, or I can't do that. You know, I've made any excuse in the book. Trust and believe. I've made it. I've made it. You know, as to prevent myself from putting myself out there as an artist, from really going there. You know, and from an artistic, you know, emotional, vulnerable standpoint, all of that. You know, have just struggled and created excuses for why I didn't do it. And so that was the phrase. What had happened was it was kind of like a nod to that. So that's where the name comes from. But then and then, you know, like I feel like I'm at the time when I recorded it, I was 34. You know, I'm 35 now, but you know, I was 34, and I was just feeling like, oh my god, like I'm just so like not accomplished, like at all. I don't have anything to my name. You know what I mean? That whole thing. And so that kind of birthed the experience. Like I was like, I really want to put something out there that is really representative of what I love. You know, which
Mm-hmm.
is this music that is known as jazz, but it's so much more than, you know, more. It's I look at jazz as being very expansive. But anyway,
Yes, yes, yes.
yeah, yeah. And so so you know, that's so I had done Night and Day as an arrangement for grad school at Howard. And so I said, well,
Oh,
let me just kind of do that again.
okay.
And I was looking for a producer. I was looking for a producer, and so I literally just Googled, not Googled, but looked at the hashtags on Instagram and put in as a hashtag jazz producer, and then just search and just listen to whoever I like. I was like, I like this person, I like this person, I like this person, and I wanted to make sure it was just based on music. Like, who did I like, you know, in terms of what they were doing? And there was a guy named Roberto Iadanza, who is in Italy, by the way. We have never actually physically spoken. We've never spoken to each other at all. We've messaged each other, like emailed each other, but we've never spoken at all. Isn't that
What?
wild? I don't know what
What?
his voice sounds. He knows what my voice sounds like clearly, you know, but he does not know, you know. So so that was an interesting experience. And we have just a very musical bond. I can be completely honest with him. I can say I love this or I don't love that. You know what I mean? We are just, you know, we just clicked. It was very strange how that happened, and very divine. And so he and I, you know, really worked together to create this, you know, this project. So what I would do is I would create a demo here, and then I would send the demo to him. He would create the beat, you know. So I would have the foundation, but then
Mm-hmm.
he would kind of do his thing, and then he would send the beat over to me. I would record with that microphone that's literally in the background right
I
there.
see it. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. I would record there and send it back to him. And then Matteo Lombardi, who is Roberto's creative partner, he would do the mixing and the mastering. And so
Okay.
that's really how we did it, you know, and just back and forth, back and forth, back and forth, back and forth until we got a project that we felt we were both, you know, we felt comfortable putting out, you know.
So you actually, you had the producer over in Italy, and also he brought the engineer, the mixing and mastering engineer to the project.
To the
So
project.
so
Mhm.
you outsourced all of it. Wow.
Oh
Wow.
yes, yeah,
that,
yeah.
that is a leap of faith for an
A
artist.
leap. And as easygoing as, you know, my Libra self can, you know, that I am, I can also be very very critical. You know
Mm.
what I mean? And if I don't like something, I will say it. You know, I do not, you know, care for this. I love this. You know, and thankfully, I mean, with Roberto, I mean, it was just really like a dream. Like wow, he's truly a master. And so it was
Incredible.
very cool.
I love it.
Yeah. And
So
Mattel. Yeah. Yeah.
so can't don't leave any names out now. Come on now.
Yeah.
So your EP covers a number of themes, and you mentioned earlier in the interview that you might think it's about one thing, but it's actually about another. So these are the themes that I picked up on, and you tell me if I missed the mark, and you correct me on what the theme was. So of course, Night and Day is really about pining for love, and the Nubian Dream, which is another track from your project. It was a really feel good track. The lyrics to me spoke about having a good time.
It's deceptive.
Okay, okay.
Do you want me to explain it, or do you want me to?
Please do, please do.
So I kind of have thought of it in terms of how I viewed it as like the Black Poppy scene in The Wiz. It's a poppy scene.
Oh,
So it's really talking about the white supremacy myth that that whiteness is so much better than everything else. So that's why when the lyric is I've been bopping along, I've been bopping along, I've been bopping along. The joint is really jumping, feel
hmm,
like a night in Tunisia. Then that whiteness takes me, the kind where I forget. Guess I come down with cultural amnesia. So I'm forgetting where I come from. I forget, and trying to trade it in for what I think is assimilation, or for to assimilate into white culture.
yeah,
And
yeah.
so it's talking about, I wanted it to sound like a party. I wanted that, I wanted people to jam. I wanted people to sound like that. It's similar to the poppy scene in The Wiz. I don't know if anybody remembers that, but everybody's having a good time, and we're all being sort of led into this like dangerous sort of area. You know what I mean? And that it was is what Nubian Dream is talking about.
That's genius. Wow, wow.
Thanks.
You
I
had me.
appreciate that.
So we talked about growing apart earlier. Was a story that your landlord was going through, but you after figured out it was your going to be your story.
Yeah, yeah. So long, and I don't mind saying this. I broke up with someone, and we were engaged, and we were in a relationship for 6 years. It's a very
Wow,
long, relationship, and it ended up kind of being about that relationship. You know,
wow.
yeah,
And then the lush life. So
it's Billy Strayhorn.
Billy Strayhorn,
Yeah,
um, kind of about loneliness. You know,
and Billy Strayhorn wrote that at 16. Which is wild to me. He wrote that at the age
wow.
of 16, which is just crazy.
He was dealing with a lot as a 16-year old.
Right. Well,
Oh,
you would think so, but I think it was more, in my opinion.
uh huh.
I don't think he had lived that life yet. He ended up dying due to cirrhosis of the liver, or cancer of the liver, due to not cancer of the liver, esophageal cancer. My bad, but it was due to smoking, excessive smoking and drinking. He basically drank and smoked himself to death. But
Mm,
that when he was 16, he was not at that. I think it was more like a dream. Like he wanted to live that kind of life of this cultural sort of attache, this amazing sort of being that is world weary. He kind of
yeah,
wanted to be that person,
yeah,
and he eventually did become that person. Yeah,
yeah. He did. He did.
yeah,
And then say their names, which is systemic racism and police genocide. You
yeah,
dealt with it. You dug
yeah.
into it.
That was in direct response to the protests of last year.
Mm-hmm.
That was going through the country, and I felt like I wanted to do something, but to be honest with you, I was too afraid to get out there,
Yeah,
afraid of getting COVID or something, like getting COVID, and so I said, well, why don't I write something? And so that's what I did.
it's a powerful track. Powerful
Thank
track.
you, I appreciate
Let
that.
the art speak for you.
Thanks.
So, how long did it take from writing to release? So, from when you first wrote your first song to when you released the project.
Yeah, we started late January, and we ended.
No, I'm
At,
talking about when you picked up the pen, You first
Oh,
started to
oh.
write, and then how long from the first picking up of the pen to releasing the whole project?
Well, if we're going that far, I wrote "Growing Apart" back in 2014.
Wow.
Yeah,
Wow.
yeah, which is just crazy, you know. And then the Night and Day, I arranged that a little bit later. I think I arranged it in 2016, somewhere near there.
Hmm.
And then Nubian Dream, I wrote. Do you know I wrote right during the right? I remember I was watching television, and I was it was during the inauguration, so it had just they had just stormed the White House and done all that. Was that after or was that before? I can't remember anymore. The inauguration happened before, or the
Which
story.
inauguration? The recent one?
Yeah,
Yeah, that was before that.
yeah. So I remember writing the lyrics to Nubian Dream and
Uh-huh.
watching the inauguration online. And I was just kind of being inspired
Oh,
by all of that. Yeah,
wow, wow,
yeah.
wow.
So that was that, and then I said say their name, and then Lush Life. I've sung that for a while. So
So when you first wrote, you said it was which one was in 2014? Was it
Growing Apart.
Growing Apart?
Uh-huh.
Did you know that you were writing that for an EP? Was that the intention, or were you?
Not at all. It was
Okay.
literally just a gift. It was like, you're an important person in my life, and I just wanted to write. The song
Wow.
is like not even like like I was like, what a gift, because the song is like talking about some real depressing ass shit. But I was like,
Well,
I'm writing this as a gift to you.
it's done in a beautiful way. So I mean, it's
Thank you. I
depressing, but
appreciate that.
it's beautiful.
Thanks.
Of
So
course.
yeah, that was for that in 2014.
Okay. Okay. So how has the project done since it's been released?
So I've had some good moments. I've gotten it on the radio in several different cities, which is very cool. It's been in Texas,
Hmm.
Michigan, Florida, California, New York, some other ones too. I can't think of them now, but yeah, yeah.
Congratulations.
So
That's
it's
amazing.
been really, that part has been really really cool.
That's
And
huge. That's huge. How does
thanks.
one get their music distributed on different radio stations and markets?
Through a lot of hustling. So I had to really kind of research, what that was like. And then there's a website, I forgot the name of the Crafty Musician, I think it was, and they have like a whole database full of radio stations, and you can search via genre. So that's what I did, and I looked at and so I literally contacted, I think it was over like 200 radio stations or something like that. It was something crazy. And you have to email each one, and you have to listen to their radio stations to know like if this is the kind of music that they like, that
Hmm.
they're used to having, and then you have to just put yourself out there and just hustle.
Yeah.
And so
Yeah.
that's what I did.
All right, hustler. All
I'm
right.
a hustler, baby. I'm not.
Yeah.
I'm not. I'm not. I'm not.
Well, you are
I'm a
now, at
shuffler.
least. I'm a shuffler. Come on. All right. Any upcoming performances?
Yeah. So I do have one in January. I'm singing on a Beatles tribute concert, and that'll be at Mr. Henry's. I think that's January 18th. I think, and then in February, I'm singing for the Mid Atlantic Jazz Festival, and
Nice.
that's
Nice.
February 18th as well. That's February 18th, and yeah, I'll be singing with Maya Raymond. So
Okay. Okay.
yeah,
Shout out to Maya. All right.
yes, yes.
She's kind of a legend in the city.
She very much so is, very much
Yeah.
so is. So I'm
Yeah.
very honored to be singing with her.
Okay. Any new music in the works?
So this year I will be releasing a full album.
Okay. All
Yeah.
right.
So I'll be working with Roberto pretty soon to get all of that going, and we're gonna keep it moving.
Is it a full album including the EP songs or totally new songs that we haven't heard yet?
Totally new songs.
Okay. Okay. Looking
Yeah.
forward to that. So at this point, you don't have a release date. This is like the genesis of You know,
Genesis.
you're writing, you're putting the songs together. You haven't even started the production process just yet.
The production is very,
Okay.
very much in the pre-production phase.
So you heard an exclusive here on Octave Opulence. You heard an exclusive. Barry Moton is starting the process of his first full album, set to be released at some point in 2022.
I'm really, really excited about
Stay
it.
tuned. Stay
Yeah.
tuned. And be sure to give him a follow on IG.
Yes, please follow me. Yes, and I'll follow you back too. I'm a big follow backer.
Run them numbers up. Run them numbers up.
Yes.
Um, just one last question. What are your thoughts on the state of music today?
Loaded question. Um, kind of, to kind of reference something that you talked about earlier, I do think that it is the age of the independent artist. I do think that, and I think that more than ever, that artists are able to really be their authentic selves in a way. You know what I mean? I love what so many artists are doing. Duran Bernard, for
Yeah,
example, fantastic, fantastic artist. And they're really, really, telling stories that are authentic to them, and it doesn't have to be in code. I
yeah,
love Luther. Luther's such a big fan of, or I'm such a big fan of Luther's work, but I feel like so much of it had to be in code, you know, you
had to
know.
be. Yeah,
And I like that we're hopefully starting to enter into an era where the double entendre is not the language of same gender loving people.
yeah,
You know what I'm
yeah.
saying?
That's my hope.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and that it can be, you know, it can be just
you
normal,
could just
and
tell.
everybody,
You could just tell the story.
and it's universal anyway,
Yes,
you know,
yes,
you know.
yes.
So that's the goal, and that's where I hope that music is going.
That's my hope too. Well, Barry, thank you so much for coming on the platform.
Thank you. You're fantastic, by the way.
I appreciate that. And I just want to say that one thing that stuck out to me tonight was the the power of family, the power of good friendships and community and the support system to help you get through the hard times, to help you get through the anxiety, to help you get through the fear, and to realize what you truly have inside. And a lot of times we're so close to the situation, we're walking in our brains every single day that
Yes.
we end up missing so much,
Yeah.
and we never really truly understand what we have inside of us until we open our ears and our hearts to what our nucleus is telling us, what our family, what our community is telling us. So that's one
Yes.
thing that jumped out to me in the conversation tonight was the power of community, the power of family, and the power of connection being very
Uh-huh.
important to helping you get through this whole journey, whether it's art, whether it's life, whether it's just trying to survive every day. You know,
And I just have to say, and it sounds so insincere, but I hope that you know that it's the truth. That I'm really, really proud of you. I really am. I
thank you
really
so
am.
much. Thank you. Thank
You
you.
know, I just watch and I stalk you just a little bit. I'm just like, oh my god, like it's not stalk for like y'all. You know what I mean? Like I follow him on Instagram. Don't think I'm like I'm outside of your apartment. In fact, like that's why. But no,
Cyber stalking is a real thing. Is a real thing,
yeah,
but
but
it's easy to do that. It's easy to do it.
you know what I you know
Yeah,
that
yeah, yeah,
you know,
yeah.
and just doing amazing things, and you continue to do amazing things.
It's my
So
pleasure. Thank you. Thank you. I'm here to serve. Here to serve. All right, Barry. Well, you have a great evening. Thank you so much again for coming on the platform, and
thank you.
we're looking forward to the new music. We're excited. So appreciate you sharing
Hey,
with us today.
thank you, thank you.
Continue to be well. Okay.
Likewise.
All right. Thank you.
All
All right.
right.
Bye bye.
Bye.